All right, and welcome back, everybody. Now we're going to be discussing another exhibition that will be happening in the European region. Then we're going to the Nordic Baltic region, which Rikemansbarnet did win that one over Phenom, and that's exactly the exhibition we're going to be talking about next. Now, Rikeman, to me, fantastic player.
I love your pronunciation, by the way. I can tell that you've been working with Veggie and for the last couple of months. You know what I mean? You got that in there. It was clean. I respect it.
I had to do it, man. Day in and day out, I had to get Rikemansbarnet in there. But yeah, listen, best player from Sweden, and we've had him on the show. He's loved his Menat. But it's interesting because when I was talking about this on commentary for the Nordic Baltic CPT, I said the one person Phenom did not want to encounter at a late stage was Rikemansbarnet, and lo and behold, he met him in the grand finals, and it didn't work out.
You know what? Phenom is a mercenary as well. I like it. He is a professional player. He plays for the money. So whichever character is going to do the business for him. I remember when he switched to carrying. Shamelessly switched to carrying.
You know
Immediately got those results. The season before, he was using that busted version of Guile as well. He has no... I do not expect to... I mean, seeing him playing Cammy and Luke, perfect sense to me.
But the thing is, for me, like in the past year and a half, I don't know about you, but the past year and a half, because I have been playing him a lot more on CFN, the archetype that's been giving him the most trouble are the zoners, the people with extended long limbs.
Menats, the poisons, the sims.
Right, he's literally gone through about 35%, 40% of the cast to go, I need someone for this answer.
Has he got an answer today? The money's on the line.
The
title's on the line.
I hope so. Best player in Sweden versus best player in Norway. And again, Phenom's one of the best players in the region. Or best players in the world.
He's one of the best players in the world.
Yeah, I totally wanted to.
He's going to want revenge as well. I'm really hyped for this one, man. It's going to be good.
Listen, revenge couldn't be any sweeter in coming to this exhibition. So please, we got to hand it over to Des. Maybe they might know. Maybe they might know what character he's going to pick. But gents, over to you.
Thank you very much to Jammers and to Logan for introing things for us there. Once again, I'm Ultra David, and I'm back here with Smug and Brian and Marine and James, and we are going to be talking to you about our thoughts on this upcoming match between Rikemansbarnet and Phenom. Smug, can you start things out here? How do you feel about Phenom?
You know, Phenom is a really good friend of mine, so I know he plays a lot of characters. You know, when he streams, he plays like the whole cast. So because of that, you know, he's running up against a Menat, and you know he chose various characters like Cammy, Karen, Nakali, and I'm pretty sure he probably has a pocket Luke. So with that being said, I don't know who he would probably choose. Maybe Karen to start it out, or maybe Luke. But Brian, what do you think?
I'm kind of hoping that Karen, I mean, Luke would be a great pick in the matchup as well. He's a zoner with a projectile that Menat cannot reflect. It's actually a very big break in the way Menat approaches those types of zoning matchups usually. But that said, it's going to be whatever's cheapest for the matchup. Phenom, people forget that he is literally one of the best players to ever touch Street Fighter V, third place at Capcom Cup 2019. He kind of leans into the absurd situations that Street Fighter V comes up. His brand has kind of been getting styled on online in ranked matches on Twitter and laughing about it. So I think people see that and they forget that this guy is nice. But on the other hand, Rikemansbarnet, this CPT showdown was him showing to the world, like, hey, I'm at this elite level. He was kind of a newcomer to the CPT side of things. He never really popped off at any event like that. He was always doing work in the online locals that they had going on. But I think to the wider audience, they didn't know how nice his Menat really was. And if you want to really get that idea, besides seeing him, you know, take the tournament pretty convincingly over Phenom, I love the losers final set in this tournament where he went up against Low High. He had the guaranteed win with the V-Trigger combo, and instead of just going for the easy peasy V-Trigger went into super, he did the most stylish combo, ended it with the Menat taunt while the super and the orb went behind him. It was just too sick to see. So I'm hoping we get to see some of that. I'm hoping it's not just Luke zoning him out. I want to see the stylish Menat combos.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you, Brian. And, you know, just watching the online CPT where Rikman was able to reset the bracket, and then Phenom, you know, was trying to inch his way, and like he switched to a Nakali. And anytime I think of Nakali, I do think of Phenom and Sherry Genix, which are like the only Nakali players, right? but again, you know, I definitely am very interested to see like a Menat and Luke matchup, because I genuinely haven't seen a whole lot of Luke, but it'd be a really good learning experience for those of you at home and even here at the analysis desk.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those tough situations here, right, for Rikemansbarnet in particular, because this is the weakness of a character specialist. Phenom knows what to practice against. But Rikemansbarnet has no idea what to practice against, right?
Yep.
So who's he going to hit up? Is he going to hit up, the Necalli experts? Is he going to hit up the Karin, a Luke expert and such? Phenom, obviously, again, I mean, I just have to shout out Phenom. Best reactions I've seen in all of the FGC, by the way. But, he can play so many characters so well. The real question comes down to is how does someone like Rikemansbarnet, prepare for this? Or do you just play your Menat game and just hope that you can just, impose the zoning? And it's going to be a tough one.
I felt in his victory that was almost him capturing lightning in a bottle, the way that he ended up winning, the way that Phenom chose some character matchups that maybe didn't seem like the best call. I don't know. And I think that's going to be a pretty tough slog to make happen again. Marine, how do you feel about somebody who has had that big victory, as you have had, and then continues to play and enter again? How do they recapture that big moment?
It's kind of hard, especially I just think of V-trigger, because V-trigger is definitely the comeback factor, and you're just trying to think okay, what are my options? Which roads do I take, especially with your opponent having a full stick of butter or just having V-trigger on deck as well. It's it can go either way. Sometimes it's a little hard because it's oh, I really, really want to do this. I want to do this cool thing, or I just want to play patiently. I don't know. Genuinely, I have to say it's kind of hard to tell in my own opinion.
Okay. Smug, do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, sometimes when it comes to stuff like that, it can get pressured, and
right.
But I feel you just have to keep your composure, and the better outcome will happen. So that's how I feel. What do you feel about that?
I mean, I just feel like Phenom is going to stick with Karin or Luke and do his best, and it's going to be really, really, really hard for Rikemansbarnet. He was definitely fighting above his weight class for that tournament. The insider intel, we talked to Phenom a little bit, is that generally he does win their sets. They play a decent amount, not just in the CPT, but in other tournaments and just in training and sets. So generally, Phenom does come out on top, and if Rikemansbarnet wins, it's a close set. So it's rare for him to have a dominant set, which he did have in that grand finals. I mean, winners finals was 3-0 with Karin. So when he reset the bracket, it was, I believe, 3-2 Menat Karin, and then he did Necalli and Cammy, and that was 3-1 for Rikemansbarnet. So I think Phenom lost his steam and confidence in that bracket, and I think if he doesn't have that affect him today, it might be heavily in his favor. But like I said, I'm a Rikemansbarnet fan. I want to see a good match. I want to see some stylish Menat stuff here in Season 5 of Street Fighter V.
I'm definitely rooting for a good match either way. That's absolutely right. Let's go to the commentators. We have Vicious and Tasty Steve.
What's going on, everybody? We're here to get ourselves ready for day 3, the first game of the day. And I got to say, with Rikemansbarnet as well as Phenom, it's been so ambiguous. We couldn't even tell. We've been talking about it literally all day. Who is going to strike first blood in this matchup?
I don't know, man. I mean, Rikemansbarnet, or is it Rikemansbarnet? I'm not sure. Jammers threw me a curveball.
I'm saying it the way Jammers is saying it. They're actually experienced when it comes to everything else.
I feel like that might be a jab. But regardless, Rikemansbarnet is honestly, I feel like, lived up to that hype, right? And I know that we're talking about people who have gotten that big win. And the tournament setting is going to be really hard to establish that.
Do you see this?
But a completely new character on board for Phenom with the M. Bison. Wants a lot of the plus frame options. I want to see what the adjustment is going to be for Rikemansbarnet.
This was the Street Fighter V announcement that Capcom was waiting for. They were going to say Phenom has another character under his belt, and it's a big surprise that it's Bison. We haven't seen this. I haven't seen this on the timeline at all.
We'll dash up and playing it really close to the heart as well. To the chest, I should say.
No, without a doubt, right? Forcing Rikemansbarnet into V-trigger pretty early, not off of a hit. This is actually very significant. Will not have enough to build another V-gauge, or V-trigger, I should say. So Phenom should be in full control, letting it rip no matter what. Hit or block, it would have been advantageous to Phenom. Getting it blocked would have been plus frames. Getting the hit, even better, getting the first round.
Okay, here we go. Round number 2, and that still went pretty fast. Even though my man M. Bison has this slow, imposing walk speed, still making it a first round a fast round. Knockdown in the corner here. Looking for a crush counter right there in the corner.
Got it from Rikemans instead, yeah. Going for that standing fierce.
I got it now.
Ugh, the Psycho Wax. Watch out for the throw. Baiting it 100%.
Just swinging for the fences right now. There's the stun, and Phenom going good in his first game.
Watch out for the throw again! Phenom utilizing that slow walk speed, making it ever so intimidating. And not only that, the fact that Bison has the biggest throw range, his back throw is phenomenal. So he was still in that range, no pun intended by the way, he was still within that range to have throw as a threat. So of course it was inevitable. Rikemansbarnet had to press the buttons, had to go for that throw tech no matter what.
I mean, I'm wondering how prepared he was for this, because a part of any matchup is filling out what your opponent wants to do. And obviously Phenom has so many characters. We're not sure what the play is. However, I feel like that unfamiliarity is kicking up right now, and it's important in this first game. Let's see what adjustments Rikemansbarnet's going to make in the second game against Bison from Phenom.
And will we ever get the consistent pronunciation of this name? Probably not. I'm going to mess it up a couple of times.
I've already messed it up once. I'm going back to Rikemans.
I'm going back to Rikemans too.
All right. Dash up once again. And using these big buttons from Bison kind of pushes him forward, trying to get this Menat to swing, and found the crush counter, but not able to keep that corner in control.
Oh, huge. Okay, does get the recall. Either way, what a side switch too. Just so smart. Good awareness there from Rikemans.
Ooh, just sliding into home base right here, back to the middle of the stage. V-shift. Oh, V-shift break right there. Calls back the orb as well, and another slide. So well called for Phenom.
And either way, that could have been into trigger if it was blocked earlier, but Phenom doing very well for himself, catching that slide very lucky. But here comes
the jump
Rikemans. There's going to be a lot of damage on the board for this one. If he gets a reset, that's a done deal. Or is it going to be enough already?
Spending it all. It has full CA, so that should be. I don't. The skeleton is crazy.
Tough, man.
I don't know, because she don't tell. She's dead.
Oh, hella. The last. To be fair, that was the last hit, right? There is minimum damage scaling on the critical art.
Damn.
But at the same time, that could have been like a pixel of life left.
Yeah. No, her CA in the scaling really does. I remember looking at just the fact that once you get the CA at the end, that's why you have these very long combos, because I don't think her CA does that much damage.
Beautifully executed, as expected from Rikemansbarnet. Stuck in this corner yet again, but has done a great job of combating against Phenom in this tight corner, right? Although it's plus frame city for Phenom, Rikemansbarnet has been contesting it every single time. And look at that, perfectly spaced and timed on the drill kick.
He's playing a slow jump back once again. Oh, big crush. Sets up the EX.
Very
good tech in the corner. And instant check, just instant check right there.
Orb is out. Early recall from Rikemansbarnet.
Going in and out of that range. What a jump in. Phenom, big damage cash out. Has full V trigger, but no meter to do anything with.
That could have been huge. That whiff punish on the throw bait would have been it for Rikemans, but Phenom living to see another day. Raw activation here from the Menat.
Speaking of, goes for the slide activate of his own in Bison. Phenom still in control of this match and just playing the down back game. Gonna make this Menat come to him full screen, about 30 seconds left on the clock. And V trigger on deck for Bison.
Oh boy. And still has it locked down. Phenom letting loose.
This is full screen. Oh, a little shimmy right there. The in and out, that slow walk speed of Bison. That's going to be the second round. The second game, first round for Phenom. This is a lot of back and forth right now. I don't even know what to say.
Phenom's done that a couple of times, right? In and out, just outside of that range, right? It ain't beef patty, it's definitely moose meat, I'll tell you what. Phenom now locking down Rikemansbarnet again, but the jump backs have been superb. Great call out. The back throw, even more so important, but EX head stop out of there. Or is he still
why
in
would
there?
you check right there, the crouching medium punch? Okay. Oh, big crush right there with the Psycho Axe.
Another crush counter. The stun not quite there, but a throw will do it. And he tried to bait it out, but still gets a nice and easy crouching jab. That is 2 games straight, looking phenomenal.
There's so much back and forth. The round for round ratio that's happening right now is really throwing me off. There's really no clear, decisive person that's keeping control of these rounds the entire time. Lots of in and out of the corner battles. Meter control looking really, really nice as well. It could go either way. Right now, it could actually go either way.
Rikemansbarnet has done an impressive job of staving away from the corner for like a good amount of time, but even when he gets into the corner, I gotta say his combating skills are so impressive. And also being able to mummy drill or at least drill kick out of the corner at the right time and could kind of confuse Phenom with just a normal jump back heavy punch has been so sick, right? Phenom has not had full control necessarily. It's still only 2 games. Rikemansbarnet still has a lot more to show. And look at this recall into the orb combo. Another. Okay. Excellent V-shift.
Just the jump back, you already talked about it. Crouch short this time, gets clipped by the orb. EX just to keep the pressure. Orb right there by the ankles, calls it back, gets the knockdown with the EX, gets the counter hit drill. Another knockdown fighting back out of this corner.
Can you believe Rikemansbarnet is still going in for seconds after that?
Okay, didn't confirm the jump in. Here's the trigger activation.
What a block there from Phenom. Nice and easy. Still trying to contest with a couple of light normals. Here comes a couple of more orbs. 3 on the side of Rikemansbarnet.
Nice.
Does get the punish against the sweep. We're going to see a trigger activation for Phenom as soon as the orbs aren't a problem.
Crush counter sweep.
Damn, that was meaty.
Oh, the slide and the jump backs are adding up like crazy right now. Rikemansbarnet is really, really trying not to let Phenom get close enough to establish this pressure. The crush counters have been on point. Wow, long distance EX pickup right there.
Oh, stop
Anti-air.
there, head stop right then and there. I think that might have been Devil's Reverse. I think that was like the fake out.
Yo, just raw scissors right there. And Bison gets crush countered. Menat goes for the fake cross up with the drill. Back throw.
I love that meaty setup with the drill as well. It could lead to so many instances, right? It could have been a back throw.
Tries to go for the slide again, activates, of course. Rikemansbarnet getting a little close to this corner. Big crush counter. Gets a little space. Oh my God, tries to go for the Devil's Reverse to get back in. Getting closer and closer to this corner.
The consistency of Rikemansbarnet's defense has been superb. Like now it's all active defense. He's pressing so many buttons to deter Phenom from going forward. But is it actually going to stop him? Here comes the implant.
Phenom willing to spin. So, oh my God, the V-shift on the V-trigger.
Disgusting.
Okay, gets the crush. Here comes Phenom. Gets the knockdown mid-screen. Another implant.
Oh, not going to V-shift this one. He wanted to save it for the trigger activation. I respect that. But you can't stay away for so long. That was brilliant. So brilliant from Rikemansbarnet. That was actually insane. The V-shift on the activation of the V-trigger was ridiculous. I lost it.
I've actually never seen that. I actually have never seen that. But we taking a look at the lounge. I saw the pop-off, man. The Good Art Lounge out there. Bro, can you you know it's hype when you instantly cut to the lounge and everybody's already going off. I bet the discussion's going on. I see the discussion. Just the kid is always an instigator when we've been sitting in the lounge. Whether it's the number of glasses, just messing with people, always.
I wonder who Just the Kid actually has in terms of like who he thinks is going to win this set. Just put your hand up if you think it's Phenom, Just the Kid. Word, okay, that's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. I think Range has Rikemansbarnet, am I right? Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Oh, wow. But if you looked at that last set, like they were talking about out there on the analyst table, man, that set was absolutely crazy.
Bonkers,
and I'm telling you right now, and listen to Brian F. when he said check out that Losers Final set as well, because it was ridiculous. But here we go.
We're seeing the adaptation here from Rikemansbarnet, too. It's been very steady. It's a steady incline, or steady incline, I guess, is the best way to say it.
Once again, this pressure is still looking really solid, though. And the build-up has really been going in favor of Rikemansbarnet, especially with that 2-game lead, now down to just 1. Oh, wow.
Can we talk about Phenom now adjusting to the jump backs against Rikemansbarnet? He's using a different option to chase down the air-to-air.
And think about that. This is a first to 5. At a game's time, they could do a lot of damage. Almost had to confirm what a block on the overhead.
You gotta be quicker than that.
Oh, gets the crush. The Psycho Axe. Dash up once again. The forward throw. You were talking about the range on Bison's throw. Even though my man is so slow, the dash up throw gets a lot of people from Bison. They don't want to keep getting crush counter. And once again,
with a subtle walk up, it could have been a roundhouse. He's done that a bunch of times so far in this set. But I think the biggest threat right now is the fact that Phenom still had that trigger, or at least in that last round, he had the fact that he had the trigger ready. It could have led to explosive damage either way. It's so dangerous to tell. There's another throw. He conditioned Rikemansbarnet for the last 3 games that the throw wasn't coming, and look at this.
Once again, back on his offense, uses the EX to get in, and nothing. Perfect distance standing. Heavy punch confirmed to the EX, to Flame 2. Dash up, there's another throw. No matter what character it is, the Phenom throw game plan, always there.
If it's not command throw, it's still a regular throw, right? We've seen how many times he's done that with Nikali before.
Yo, the reflect on the orb, yo, they are playing.
Who gave you that power, child? Technically, he did. By default, right?
I mean, technically, yeah. Goes back to this slow-paced neutral. Sets off that orb. I love this active spacing that we're seeing from Menat.
There we go. Absorb the orb this time.
So just kick to get back in there. Slow the EX out of nowhere to get back to this corner. Tries to go for a shimmy. Orb still there, though. 25 seconds left on the clock. This is a large life bar and the stand medium kick to close out another round. That's 3-1. It's 3-1.
I think, yeah, there was a pretty tough field battle up there for Rikemansbarnet. Didn't have the resources necessary to really amass a comeback. Menat had to play that a lot slower than usual rounds, honestly. Again, we've seen how offensive Rikemansbarnet can be with the right resources, but the fact that he was drained out right before the end. It's like there's no way. I feel like there was no way that Phenom was going to allow her, or allow Phenom, or allow Menat to get this comeback. Excuse me.
Take your time.
Excuse me. To allow Menat to amass a comeback.
Well, if you look at what's been happening for the most part, even though Rikemansbarnet has really been contesting a lot that's been happening, Phenom will use meter, just EX raw scissors to get back in to keep that pressure. Just to make sure. We saw once they got to the corner, you saw a bunch of heavy, standing heavy punches from Bison as well, just to keep control of that range. So we know what the game plan is for Phenom. And here's the corner. Gets the crush counter sweep, looking for a throw. And once again, the Phenom rinse, recycle, and repeat.
You can't V-shift that. You cannot V-shift the cycle cut, or excuse me,
the
cycle X like that.
Wild stand light kick this time. Gonna get the EX. They're gonna be able to get a little bit out of this corner. What are you gonna do with it though?
Staying in there, yeah. Very wary of the orb, and Phenom again absorbing it again.
Follow up in the corner.
Disgusting.
Phenom in control. Raw activation.
And the orb's got to be coming. Oh, that could have been a bigger punish.
Okay, and just some of the resources here. See, gets the hit.
You're actually dead. No meter necessary.
CA needed. Oh, why would you say that? Why would you say that, Vicious?
He could do it. He could have done it.
Oh, no.
It would have been optimal. You could have finished your combo.
Jeremy, no. Expect an email or a tweet or two. Here we go.
Oh, boy. He could have.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda, Jeremy. Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
That's not my fault.
EX this time.
It might have been. Commentator's curse.
Trio. Damn, this, you see what I mean? Phenom is completely willing to get the momentum back by wasting bar in the neutral. Didn't work out this time because a throw came from it. Rikemansbarnet starting to catch on.
I feel like that's exactly what Bison needs, though. Just being able to close the gap in plus frames, that makes it even more of a threat because you could have slower normals that could crush counter you. You could get the throw if you wanted to. So I do believe, going in for the EX scissor kick is a pretty solid game plan with Phenom.
Oh.
No continuation. I think he was stuck in block stun.
Look at that. The scissors just to get in. Moving forward a little bit. Gets the combo on top of it. A lot of life gone. Getting close to stun. Phenom in control. Your trigger on the table. Activation here from Menat. Trying to make something happen.
The block is phenomenal. I love the air-to-air decision for Phenom.
Finally gets the hit. Wasn't able to make anything happen, though. Full CA on the side for Rikemansbarnet right now. Sets up the orb, the EX, one more hit left, and the raw slide that's going to take it to 4. Phenom needs one more.
Either way, that was backed up by a trigger, no matter what.
Yeah.
That sweep would have led to Cycle Crusher, would have been block stun anyway. That was a really smart decision. I do like that from Phenom, right? There was a lot of reluctancy coming in from Rikemansbarnet. Didn't want to press a button, any sort of fierce or anything like that, because of the fact that, Bison's normal just reached so far ahead. But that slide is a lot faster than a Psycho Axe, that's for sure.
I mean, just even catching some of her backdashes in the corner and seeing the V-shift, sniping out the V-shift, using that Psycho Axe as well, like you called out. All things I feel like Phenom was prepared for. I wonder just how prepared Rikemansbarnet was prepared for this in Bison, because it's not looking like he was.
I mean, if you guys disagree, you can just take a look at the score above, 4-1. Phenom in dominant fashion with his Bison.
Gets the crush. Not saying it's not a winning, it's not saying you still can't win, but right now it's just looking like Phenom is in so much control. It's going to take a lot for Rikemansbarnet to run this back.
And it's been tit for tat so far, right?
Yeah.
In terms of the rounds, it's been pound for pound. Rikemansbarnet has fought his way against Phenom a good amount of times. And here comes the mix. Phenom's defense is just superb right now, though. I say it, I spoke too soon, I did it again. No Brittany.
Oh, once again, the block on the overhead. Phenom's defense is ridiculous today.
Oh, close to stun, though.
I'm saying that he's almost stunned.
Yeah, his defense, amazing.
Right?
He's about to get stunned.
He's about to get stunned.
It's fine. He evaded the danger zone. It's going to be just fine. Slightly at the deficit with the trigger on deck. That's going to be very dangerous. Rikemansbarnet. Another crush counter.
V-reversal this time to get out of there. Psycho Crusher. Sets out the orb. Jump back. Didn't hit a button. That could have been it. What a backdash. Didn't get to confirm. Oh my gosh. Phenom. 1 round away. These scrambles are not working out for Menat or Rikemansbarnet. Oh man.
Missed the punish. A significant punish at that to set the pace. That's going to do a ton of mental damage. Phenom is looking all green. I'm not talking about the Bison. It means green for go. He has just been going in since then.
I actually want to see Rikemansbarnet get this under control.
Oh boy.
Man. Phenom is just not letting up. Okay, gets to confirm. Trigger conversion this time. Goes for the reset this time. And CA is right there on table. Probably not going to use it just yet. Goes for a third reset. There's the stun. Wait a minute. Okay.
He has suspended, right?
CA?
Yeah, he has suspended. That's going to be the conclusion of it. No doubt in my mind, this is definitely going to
I'm gonna let you. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. The scaling
I've
after
seen that before. We've seen it this set.
Right? The scaling is so crazy. It really throws me off. But either way, gets the knockout, gets the KO. The CA no longer on the table. Phenom has full trigger, not there yet, excuse me, but the CA just using 1 EX bar so far.
Swipes away. That's a giant buffer, too. That standing heavy punch doing great damage. And already building that bar. That was the meatiest Psycho Axe. Arby's hit up Bison right now. That was actually the meats.
Oh, wow. Tries to go for a cross-up maybe right there. And using the orbs for offense, once again, just raw EX scissors kick from Phenom. And this is looking just about done. Rikemansbarnet, give me something. Boy. But no resources on the table.
You weren't cooking. You weren't joking about them being cooked right now. It's going to be kind of tough to come back up. Rikemansbarnet just running low on resources. Put a fork in them. They're done, baby.
This is almost impossible to run back, and it won't be coming back around this time. Phenom lets you know that it won't be a second time you're getting away with it. Brings out the M. Bison, gets the 5-1 victory over Rikemansbarnet. And man, it was good to see the Menat, but it obviously not enough to get the job done for. Did anybody see the M. Bison coming? Because
I didn't get to see it at all. I mean, I've seen his social media. I've seen the kind of posts that Phenom has been putting on Twitter. I mean, I had no inclination that he was going to pull off this Bison. Personally, I would love to know if anybody from the UK could tag me, like Logan Samba, F-Word Jammers. I would love for them to be
I want to know. I want to be a part of that conversation.
We did this pre-show, but I can tell you right now, we knew all along, Jeremy.
Man, I would love to be a part of that conversation because I love that we have this spotlight to see some of these other players. I know Capcom Cup, typically when we get to the finals, this is supposed to be the best of the best at the end, but I love the fact that we're getting the showcase from these regions because, once again, we don't get to see a lot of these players make it out sometime, whether it be because of travel, whether it be because, just not being able to come to these tournaments, but this is a nice way to show what these regions have to offer. Man, Rikemansbarnet definitely made me a fan from way back when I watched it the first time, but the fact that we have a dedicated Menat from a player like that.
Super impressive, without a doubt. You can see how much of the wheels have been turning inside Rikemansbarnet's head, like constantly adapting to whatever Phenom was trying to do on the battlefield. But at the same time, I feel like there was just a little bit of unfamiliarity with the way that Phenom played that Bison, right? You could have Bison practice, but is there Phenom practice as well? Without a doubt. Now we're going to throw it back to the analysts just to give us their thoughts on this crazy pick, not too crazy, from Phenom.
Yeah, let's talk about it as Phenom takes a 5-1 win over Rikemansbarnet. Smug, how do you feel about how it went?
I actually did not expect the Bison pick, but at the same time, I did expect that he was going to pick a different character, probably if it wasn't Luke, Karen, or Nikali, because again, he can play the whole cast. And remember, he once played Bison in Street Fighter 4, so he was kind of comfortable learning Bison for this matchup, which it clearly showed. He had a huge advantage in the matchup, and it was a lot easier too because he got through the zoning a lot easier compared to where he would have tried it with Karen, Luke, or Nikali. So
yeah, I think it was definitely a great matchup pick, and he's also used M. Bison before in tournament for Street Fighter 5. It's kind of like a season 1 kind of character for him. He mostly retired that character for most matchups, but I think it was a great pick for the matchup. And to quote another Bison aficionado, M. Bison he's the tax man. You got to pay the price to get out of the pressure, and unfortunately for Menat, paying that price using the V meter is not a cost-effective form of her building up the space because of the fact that her V reversal, it doesn't knock down. So when Bison does those big plus frame situations with the fierces, you're incentivized to V reversal to push them off you and get your turn back, but she can't do that because it doesn't knock down, and she needs the V trigger to make the comeback, to make the offense go. And you saw that when Reichsman actually did the V trigger, he had the ideas, but he just did not execute properly. There's so many situations where he was close to landing that amazing V trigger sequence or comeback, but it just didn't work out the way he intended it to, and because of that, it just wasn't enough to get the job done.
Each day we've had replays that we've been able to take a look at, provided by Arby's. Let's take a look at one now with the Arby's meaty moment.
Arby's, we have the meat.
Oh, Phenom definitely is dropping that big meaty deposit towards Reichman's.
Yo.
Okay, so of course the points that Brian and Smug made were like on point because we did see that Phenom literally playing Bison because we thought that he would play Luke, Kadian or Nikali, but he definitely dominated against Rikemansbarnet's Menat. But yeah, we see the V trigger sequences and whatnot, but he was able to block most of it, even like the overheads.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I feel like Phenom did such a good job, too, when he was able to block a couple of those just to kind of build the distance and get that V trigger to waste away. And I feel like Rikemansbarnet was almost kind of panicking in a lot of those situations, using the orbs in moments that he wasn't supposed to. And, you know, speaking on Phenom, you know, sometimes I feel like players who can use lots of different characters can kind of handicap themselves because they can second guess themselves. We've seen them change when they shouldn't have, but Phenom is just at another level, right? We heard Logan and Jammers talk about Phenom. This guy is a world-class player, and someone like that who can use this many different characters and pick the... Look, the short time that I played Menat, Bison was one of the most painful matches to fight against, and so when I saw that Bison pick, I was just like, oh no, poor Rikemansbarnet. And unfortunately, that's the exact result.
Yeah, I think what stands out to me too is that, as one of you was saying earlier, there's clearly player familiarity here as well. His defense, Phenom's defense, was really, really strong in a lot of these situations, and some of the V-trigger mix-ups that actually worked were actually kind of like weird and not exactly intentional. There was an intended instant overhead that actually just kind of like didn't really hit, and then the orb hit from a funky side that was a little weird. But for all the setups that were a little bit more traditional, Phenom blocked the overheads for the most part. He blocked the lows for the most part. He had excellent defense, even on top of having the really good character pick.
Yeah, the V-Skill 1 usage also I want to highlight from Phenom.
Yeah.
The fact that, Menat wants to throw out the orb to control the space, and she'll pull it back to get her extended offensive strings, as well as just zoning options using the orb explode if you try to move forward. She kind of controls the screen with that. Every single time that Rikemansbarnet threw out that orb, it was simply absorbed with Bison's V-Skill 1, which can absorb a projectile, and that gives him a projectile in return, which he can chuck out and then follow behind with the scissors to get the pressure going. So it felt like all of her tools were just perfectly countered, and it just kept the offensive going. And then once he's on the offense, she can't be reversal. She just has to hold the pressure, and she can't get out. So it was a tough situation to be in.
Yeah, and I think that was the smart pick for Phenom, because he still wants to rush down. You know, that's the main objective, to try to get past her zoning. And Bison was the perfect character for that. You know, a lot of his characters, like for example Karen, it's hard to get in to get things started. You know, by the time you get in, you're probably going to have like 10% less health, or you know, even with Nakali, it's still going to be really hard with his tools he has. It's going to be hard to get things started. But with Bison, once you have 1 bar of meter, you know, you do the EX ball, then
or EX scissors, no neutral, man. That's no neutral.
You whiff punish with EX scissors all day.
See, this is why it's really good to have multiple characters in your arsenal, because if you stay with one character, you can easily get counterpicked, you know? And the more characters you have, if you have 2 characters, then you can work with what you have against certain players. But when you have multiple characters, or like somebody like Phenom, you can play the whole cast. It's really hard to do your homework on somebody. It's hard to download the opponent because you don't even know what character you're going to pick. See, that's the problem, man. That's what I'm saying. The more characters you have in your arsenal, the better you will do in tournaments.
All right, well, thanks a lot to our sponsors for the event for this whole weekend. One of them is Game Gooder. Whether you're doling out hurricane kicks on screen or shadow boxing dragon punches outside, Game Gooder has you covered with their wide range of sunnies and blue light blocking shades.
And of course, Arby's is a proud sponsor of the Capcom Pro Tour 2021 season final. Connect with Arby's on social and follow them across your favorite social media platforms at Arby's. And sad Rob's not here. Don't want to steal his announcement thunder, but because he likes to roast people and start beef, he's dropping the O out of his name, and he's going to be officially RBTV from now on.
Okay.
Let's go.
Oh
hey,
my
you know,
God.
Marine, are you a Dan, are you a Zangief, or are you a Ryu?
What are you talking about? I'm cringing. I'm cringing right here.
Street Fighter Duel, the Capcom authorized mobile game, is now available for download in Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Macau. Other regions are also coming soon. Follow Ryu, Chun-Li, and others to explore the mysterious organization, experience the classic stories with all your fighters, and recall your memories of the original Street Fighter. It's got an impressive array of fighting elements and innovative multiplayer combos that offer you a new battle experience challenging your strategy and control. A variety of PvP gameplay and tournament with in-game rewards will inspire you to fight. The arcade legend is reborn on the mobile. Download Street Fighter Duel now and join the millions of other players to find out who is the best fighter. Coming up next. Any idea who's coming up next?
I don't understand.
Oh, please.
What's going on? Oh, is it me?
It's you, buddy.
Oh,
That's
I
right.
gotta go play?
You gotta go play
I
now.
play this game. I don't just talk about it?
You do,
oh,
in
wow.
fact, play this video game. Coming up next is going to be Rob TV versus Brian F.
That's going to be really good.
Is
I
it?
hope.
Is it?